now been around long enough to have a rich history, from the early days of Pong to the controversy of Doom, and now the potential of online gaming. All of this the subject of a book called Dungeons and Dreamers, the rise of computer game culture from geek to chic.
When these Redskins and Cowboys get together, it is always a big game.
The latest video games may look nothing like the games we played as kids, but Dungeons and Dragons, the dice-based fantasy game, may have started it all. That's the idea behind Dungeons and Dreamers, following fantasy gaming from a geeky start to a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Games are social activities. That's the way it's been as long as games have been around.
Yeah, it just came out in
Authors
Europe,
Brad
too.
King and John Borland say you can see a lot of the old D&D in new games, especially in the wildly popular online games like Ultima and EverQuest, which bring thousands of people together every evening.
Well, the thing about D&D was that it was always about sitting around in a group with your friends and playing with people that you knew. So it was always from the beginning about getting people together.
In fact, they say the single-player fantasy game, a game like Myst, may turn out to be a historical accident. Fantasy games, after all, started as social activities. You can't play Dungeons and Dragons alone, but they morphed into single-player back when computers weren't hooked up to networks. Now, with the internet, people are free to play with friends, whether it's a modern-day D&D or something else.
Even people today who are playing John Madden Football online, which is about as far from Dungeons and Dragons as you can possibly get. I mean, they're two different sets of people. You ask them why they like playing online, and the answer is the same, because they get to play with their friends.
And that, say the authors, can only grow as more and more people and devices come online.
And I think that as you see the convergence of all of these, whether it's cell phone, Palm Pilots, consoles, televisions, as everything begins to come together and interconnect with each other, it's going to be sort of geometric. And the fact that what people like to do is talk to other people and create ways and worlds and places that you can go and sort of be something that you're not. It's like moving to a new town. You get to sort of reinvent yourself, but it's still you. And I think that we're going to see that kind of connectivity. It's hard to say how that's going to change the world, but it's clearly going to change it in dramatic ways.
And you could read more about Dungeons and Dreamers at, not surprisingly, dungeonsanddreamers.com.
Coming up.